Good day everyone, and welcome to my recording. Today I will be reading Chapter 5 of Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson, which is currently in the public domain. Whether you're winding down for the night, or just hoping for a moment's relaxation, I hope you enjoy. Also, please subscribe to my channel and like my video. It would help me greatly. Chapter 5. "Here, you below there, is it on, Bill?" cried the blind man again. At that, another fellow, probably him who had remained below to search the captain's body, came to the door of the inn. "Bill's been overhauled already," he said. "Nothing's left." "It's these people at the inn. It's that boy. I wish I'd pulled his eyes out," cried the blind man Pew. "There were no time ago. They had the door bolted when I tried it. Scatter, lads, and find 'em. Sure enough, they left the gold here," said the fellow from the window. "Scatter and find 'em. Rout the house out," echoed Pew, striking with his stick upon the road. Then there followed a great to-do throughout all the old inn. Heavy feet pounding to and fro, furniture thrown over, doors kicked in until the very rocks echoed, and the men came out again, one after another on the road, and declared that we were nowhere to be found. And just the same whistle that had alarmed my mother and myself over the dead captain's money was once more clearly audible through the night, but this time twice repeated. I had thought it to be the blind man's trumpet, so to speak, summoning his crew to the assault, but I now found that it was a signal from the hillside towards the hamlet, and from its effect upon the buccaneers, a signal to warn them of approaching danger. "There's Dirk again," said one. "Twice. We have to budge, mates, budge, you skulk," cried Pew. "Dirk was a fool and a coward from the first. You wouldn't mind him. They must be close by, they can't be far. You have your hands on. Scatter and look for them, dogs. I would shiver my soul," he said, "if I had eyes." This appeal seemed to produce some effect, for two of the fellows began to look here and there among the lumber, but half-heartedly, I thought, and with half an eye to their own danger all the time, while the rest stood irresolute on the road. "You have your hands on thousands, you fools, and you hang a leg. You'd be as rich as kings if I could find it. And you know it's there, and you stand there skulking. There wasn't one of you who dared face Bill, and I did it. A blind man, and I'm about to lose my chance for you. I'm to be a poor crawling beggar sponging for rum when I might be rolling in a coach. If you had the pluck of a weevil in a biscuit, you'd catch him still." "Hang it, Pew, we've got the doubloons," grumbled one. "They might have hid the blessed thing," said another. "Take the Georges, Pew, and don't stand there squalling. Squalling's the word for it." Till at last, his passion completely taking the upper hand, he struck at them right and left in his blindness, and his stick sounding heavily on more than one. These in turn cursed back at the blind miscreant, threatening him in horrid terms, and trying in vain to catch the stick to wrest it from his grasp. This quarrel was the one saving for us, for while it was still raging, another sound came from the top of the hill on the side of the hamlet, the tramp of horses galloping. Almost at the same time, a pistol shot, flash and report came from the hedge side, and that was plainly the last signal of danger, for the buccaneers turned at once and ran, separating in every direction, one seaward along the cove, one slant along the hill, and so on, so that in half a minute not a sign of them remained but Pew. Him they had deserted, whether in sheer panic or in revenge for his ill words and blows, I know not. But there he remained behind, tapping up and down the road in a frenzy, and groping and calling for his comrades. Finally he took a wrong turn and ran a few steps past me, towards the hamlet, crying, "John, Black Dog, Dirk," and other names. "You won't leave old Pew, mates, not old Pew." Just then the noise of horses topped the rise, and 4 or 5 riders came in sight of the moonlight, and swept in full gallop down the slope. At this Pew saw his error, turned with a scream, and ran straight for the ditch, into which he rolled, but he was on his feet again in another second, and made another dash, now utterly bewildered, right under the nearest of the coming horses. The rider tried to save him, but in vain. Down went Pew with a cry that rang into the night, and the 4 hoofs trampled and spurned him as they passed by. He fell on his side and then collapsed upon his face and moved no more. I leapt to my feet and hailed the riders. They were pulling up at any rate, horrified at the accident, and I soon saw what they were. One tailing out behind the rest was a lad that had gone from the hamlet to Dr. Livesey's. The rest were revenue officers who he had met along the way, and with whom he had the intelligence to return at once. Some news of the commotion at Kidd's Hole, a place not far from the inn, had found its way to Supervisor Dance, and set him forth that night in our direction. And to that circumstance, my mother and I owed our preservation from death. Pew was dead, stone dead, and for my mother, when we had carried her up from the hamlet, a little cold water and salt soon brought her back again, and she was none the worse for her terror. In the meantime, the supervisor rode on as fast as he could to Kidd's Hole, but his men had to dismount and scramble down the ditch, leading sometimes supporting their horses, and in continual fear of ambush. So it was no great matter for surprise when they got down to the hole that the brawl was already underway, though still close in. He hailed her. A voice replied, telling him to keep out of the moonlight, where he would get some lead in him, and at the same time a bullet whistled close by his arm. Soon after, the lugger turned the corner and disappeared. Mr. Dan stood there, as he said, like a fish out of water. They've got off clean, and there's an end. Only, he added, I'm glad I trod on Master Pew, for by this time he had heard my story. I went back with him to the Admiral Benbow, and you cannot imagine a house in such a state of disarray. The very clock had been thrown down by these fellows in their furious hunt after my mother and myself, and though nothing had been taken away except the captain's money and a little silver from the till, I could at once say that we were ruined. Mr. Dance could make nothing of the scene. They got the money, you say? Well then, Hawkins, what fortune were they after? More money, I suppose? No, sir, not money, I think, replied I. In fact, sir, I believe I have this thing in my breast pocket, and to tell you the truth, I should like to put somewhere safe. To be sure, boy. Quite right, he said. I'll take it if you like. I thought perhaps Dr. Livesey, I began. Perfectly right, he interrupted very cheerily. Perfectly right, a gentleman and a magistrate. And now come to think of it, I might as well ride around there myself and report to him, or Squire, Master Pew's dead when all's done. Not that I regret it. And people will make it out against an officer of His Majesty's revenue, if make it out they can. Now, Hawkins, if you like, I'll take you along. I thanked him heartily for the offer, and we walked back to the hamlet where the horses were. By the time I had told my mother of my purpose, they were all in the saddle. Dogger, said Mr. Dance, you have a good horse, take up the lad behind you. As soon as I was mounted, holding on to Dogger's belt, the supervisor gave back the word, and the party struck out at a bouncing trot on the road to Dr. Livesey's house. Thanks for listening, guys. If there are any other public domain novels you'd be interested in hearing, let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with future recordings. See you next time.